And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We had a few technical difficulties, but hopefully you're hearing us loud and clear. Or hopefully for you, you're not. What were we talking about? We're talking about leagues and representation in the World Cup.
Yep.
Did you get anything there? Or?
No, I can't see it.
That's okay. I had a look. I think the players that are in the World Cup, about 20% of them play in the EPL. I think it's about 15% in La Liga, and then the big leagues in Europe follow from there. And the Major League Soccer is I think was 6th, which is pretty interesting. But I think that's probably a function of Costa Rica and Canada, and obviously the US.
Did you see the Poland team getting
they
escorted with F-16s to the border?
Yeah, fighter jets. Scary times.
Let's hope this World Cup goes off without a hitch, considering everything else that's been going on so far. So hopefully it has a decent tournament overall.
Outside of all the hoo-ha and sponsorship and rest of it, let's talk about these upcoming games. England, Iran. Forgive us if you had heard some of this or had not. England have the most expensive roster at this World Cup, which is wild. Should take care of business here against Iran. Senegal, Netherlands. Again, forgive us if we're repeating ourselves, but the Netherlands, the best back four in that group handily, possibly at the World Cup. Senegal, actually pretty good as well. Sadio Mane coming off the injury, unlikely to be playing. So going to be interesting to see what happens there. USA and Wales, you'd think on paper are playing for second, although we all know what England likes to do at World Cups. Don't discount either of these teams. Wales, back at the World Cup for the first time since 1992. It's been a long time. Gareth Bale will have the pressure on him to lead this Welsh side out there. But the Americans will be pretty good. Christian Pulisic and the like will be looking to get wins. And Argentina, we spoke last week about the FIFA prediction, getting them
Favourites.
Favourites.
Well, to win it all.
To win the whole thing. Lionel Messi, obviously going to be his last World Cup. Does the pressure come off Messi? It was always, you'd never won anything internationally, and then last year one goes out and they win the Copa America. I think they've won, though. They haven't lost for 35 games, which is
very good team.
Pretty crazy.
That's pretty good.
Pretty crazy. And then we come into our group. Denmark probably take care of Tunisia pretty handedly. And we spoke about Poland coming across. France, Australia. That's obviously the big one for us. It's going to be 6 a.m. So
juicy $10 there.
Yeah.
And that's on Australian sports bet as well.
Yeah, that's true. 6 a.m. Wednesday morning will be the opening of our campaign. Benzema injury this morning.
Will not take part.
Yeah, so it seems like definitely out in this game, and then possibly
tournament.
Possibly. Again, much like the NBA, hard to get a gauge on what the actual injury is. A thigh injury has been reported from training. And Kuko and Varane will also be unavailable. Look at their projected lineup. It's still fire. Griezmann, Giroud, Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele up front, maybe Kingsley Coman.
Still too good.
Good luck. Maybe it's his beige. He'll fucking grab one of them and put them in his pocket. It's going to be difficult. Difficult for us in that group. Obviously, you have to cop a really good first pot team, and that's France. Yeah. The problem is in our group is Denmark are really good. They're coming off the Euros where they made the semis. Led by Eriksson. All of their players, all of their starting 11 at big teams. Kasper Schmeichel, one of the most handy goalkeepers getting around. It's going to be really difficult for us. And hopefully we get past Tunisia, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Croatia, they're in a group with Morocco, Belgium, and Canada. Canada, say hello. First World Cup since 1986, which is pretty cool. They've got Alphonso Davies, who's from Bayern Munich. You'd think probably going to be also Rans in that group. You'd expect Belgium and Croatia to get through, but if anyone's a betting man, and I tend to be, Morocco on paper are very, very good. A lot of their squad is in the big five leagues in Europe, but Croatia and Belgium on paper should get through that group. Croatia and Belgium also very old. Very old. They're starting to, we talk about windows and closing windows and the rest of it. That's definitely the case for them. Germany and Spain should get through their group with Japan and Costa Rica. You look at Japan's team, they've got a lot of guys at big clubs in Europe, and Spain are going into this one, especially with a very, very young team, changing of the guard, if you will, kind of team. Your Sergio Ramoses, your David De Gea's and the like, retired from international football. They're very young on paper. It's still Spain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still should be quite good. And then we get to Switzerland, Cameroon, Brazil, and Serbia. Pretty stacked group. Serbia, I don't think lost. I think they won their group actually in qualifying, which is pretty wild. And Brazil are the odds-on favourites to take out the whole thing. And then we get to Uruguay, South Korea, Portugal, and Ghana. Portugal should handedly get through that group. What's our thoughts, boys? Looking forward to it, or has all the outside kind of noise dampened your experience as a viewer?
Yeah, for me, I think it's dampened my interest a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll just have to wait until the soccer kicks off, see whether get back into it. Right, we'll see by Wednesday. Depends on what the Socceroos do.
Go beat France.
Yeah.
Oh, we love football. Yeah, sick.
They get 10 put on,
That's
I'll
it.
be like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's not going to be 10.
No.
Yeah.
That France team's very good, despite the injuries.
Yes. If it's a 1-0 kind of game, I'll be like, oh, that's a pretty good result, I'd say, for the Australian squad. Anyway, we'll see. Hopefully, yeah, we get a lot of good games and not a lot of stupidity.
Yep.
I fear for the first streaker in the World Cup.
What streaker?
Yeah, it'll be very interesting.
All right. We'll finish up with the final round
Final round?
and get out.
Yeah.
Ding, ding. And a little bit of a light on final round this week in the UFC. Derek,
Obviously, off the back of a massive
Massive
281.
yeah.
Check out those vids if you want to see us talk about Pereira, Adesanya, etc.
Yes. 282, not too far away as well. Another 2 weeks, I
Yeah,
think.
2 weeks, I think. Yep.
Or 3 weeks. It's mid-December.
December 10.
Yeah. Derek Lewis was meant to be the headline of today's event, but it was cancelled because he was sick. I think he ended up going to the hospital, something stomach related, maybe too much tiramisu, as you will. But our lad...
Interesting dessert of choice.
yeah.
I love a good tiramisu, though.
Yeah, eat too much of it, might go straight through you, though.
That's pertinent to most things.
Yes. I think the main thing for us, probably our lad Delhi, got the win as well. Another first round knockout. I think that's 3 in 3 fights for him. So very good. What do you got there?
No, continue.
Okay.
Max just did find the thing that we're after before.
Okay, we'll finish for that then. Outside of that, in the UFC kind of news, the sad passing during the week of Anthony Rumble Johnson, passed away at 38.
Way too young.
Way too young,
and I don't think they've announced anything official.
I think he'd been unwell for some time, is what I've heard.
Yeah, and with that bodybuilding kick as well, he got really, really, really big. Whether some extra help in that regards.
I wouldn't want to speculate on that.
Yeah, but whether it's taking its toll on his body overall, and his just health hasn't been great. And he had moved to Bellator recently, but yeah, unfortunately for him, dies very, very young, and had a pretty good career. Fought for the title multiple times in the UFC.
He had cancer.
There you go.
Non-Hodgkin lymphoma.
Yeah.
And another one.
There you go. So the official announcement there. Yeah, cancer sucks.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
So the UFC, for this event, they did a really good kind of promo piece for him in passing. So,
in tribute,
definitely in tribute. So sad to see Anthony Rumble Johnson go. One of my favorite fighters, a lot of people's favorite fighters. For that, Rumble name, just knocking motherfuckers out left, right, and center.
So. He garnered a lot of interest in the sport.
Yeah,
didn't he?
So outside of that, a little bit of boxing news. Ryan Garcia versus the Tank Davis officially announced for early next year. I think Tank's actually got 2 fights booked already between there now and then. But this is for their division, the two top. Basically getting ready for a boxing fight. So another really, really big boxing fight. And then Misfits Boxing today had their card. So Greg Hardy was a late replacement for Vitor Belfort. So this was meant to be, I figure, more like a light heavyweight fight. He was fighting Hassam, what was his, I don't remember his last name. He weighed in at like 204 and Greg Hardy was like, no, I think Greg Hardy was 302 pounds, and Hassan was 92 pounds less, and was way bigger than him. Got a unanimous decision win in this. Did knock Hassan down once. But I guess the big news from this was Dylan Dennis slapping KSI, then getting punched in the face by Anthony Taylor. But I just saw it before they've announced that in January 14th, Dylan Dennis is fighting KSI in a boxing match in London. So that was the big announcement from Misfits.
I want Dylan Dennis to fight Francis Ngannou. I'm sick of it. We spoke about it last week. Who's slapping who, and it's WWE.
All the memes this week have been about. Well, I saw from the press conference yesterday for Misfits where essentially he's just taking L's in all these street fights. He's been losing them all. So he's now got an official bout in a boxing ring with KSI in January. We'll have to see what happens there, but that is the fight world we live in currently.
Money Mayweather, Deji, since the last pod, I believe.
Oh, that also happened as well. Mayweather won easy, TKO in the 6th.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was. If you saw any of the highlights of Walker Park, he basically was playing with him the entire time and really showboated throughout the whole thing and beat him up, as you probably expect from a 50-0 fighter like Mayweather. Got his bag and bounced, but I can see the angle of him and KSI after he's already fought Logan. Money, etc. Boxing. Yeah. Finish with their fun?
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And the best soundbite on the Esky. They come around the final turn. Shout out to Vettel.
Yes. Last week's race, Brazil, Merckx 1-2. Russell get his first win of the year. First win ever in Formula One. Hamilton, of course, second. They've cemented their spot as number 2 in the Constructors' Championship. With rumours, the Ferrari boss is going to get the sack. There's rumours floating around that they've already found a replacement. That's likely going to be announced in January/February. The rumours there. In driver movements, Shuey is out. Hulkenberg is in. Following that, that's official. Hulkenberg's in, Shuey's out. The rumours are Shuey's going to go to Mercedes, and it's all but official that Ricciardo's going to Red Bull next year as their third driver, as a reserve driver. It's been announced just as long as Ricciardo signs the contract, it's all good. And that's interesting after what happened last week at Brazil with the whole Max and Perez story. Because Perez is chasing second place with Leclerc at the moment.
Even on points.
And Verstappen finished 6th in this race, and they just wanted to switch positions so he would have extra points going in this race.
Team things.
Yes, and Verstappen refuses. He didn't want to.
Really?
And he said over the summer...
Ego things.
Well, that was all the chat, Verstappen had to wear a bit of the blame from the fans and that kind of turning their nose and turning off him a little bit. But Max's comment was, "I told you over the summer break the reason why," and it's kind of come out that Perez in qualifying, admitted that he crashed on purpose, which then red flagged the event, and me and T started on pole.
The Monaco race.
Yep. Sorry, what did I say? I thought I said Monaco. my brain probably doesn't work. And people have been looking at the telemetry and looking at the data and the throttle response and the turn in, because he essentially looks like he's mashed the accelerator and spun the car entering going into the tunnel in Monaco, and then that's where he had Leclerc run straight up his ass. Doing his thing. Yeah, it might have been science, but doing his thing. And Monaco, the middle of the year, he did end up winning that race. But also he was very much in contention with Max for the championship at that point. So less team or stuff there. So that's maybe why Max was correct. A bit vindicated in this. Otherwise, he's not helping his teammate out. Ricciardo's sitting back there like, that is my way to get a driver's seat. I believe Perez's contract's through to 2024, but maybe they'll see how each driver does next year in the same car. I expect Ricciardo to get a decent amount of practice in Perez's car next year, and they'll see who's fastest, and they might make a decision about who will be Max's partner for 2024.
That's it, yeah.
Very, very interesting. It really spiced up the Ricciardo news of going to Red Bull with that whole story of the infighting within the team the previous week.
No, definitely. Definitely. And obviously a known commodity around Red Bull as well. Like it's that sort of coming home for him.
Though famously, Ricciardo left because they were giving a lot of preferential treatment to Max Verstappen as he was coming in to try and make him the youngest champion of all time.
Yeah, that's it.
Whether Ricciardo's now happy to play second fiddle,
surely.
We will
Nothing.
We will see. Otherwise, last race of the year, Seb's last race. Latifi, Ricciardo, and Shuey all out of drives with new guys coming in next year. We'll have to see what that looks like. But Seb, as the previous champion, your shout out beer is the big one, of course. And they've been doing a lot of really interesting Seb Vettel events during the week because he's officially retired, so there's no expectation he'll be back. Though we think maybe possibly come back 2026, we'll see.
It's a long way, 2026.
It is. But
those years have gone pretty quick.
But otherwise, last race of the year, that is midnight for us. So in a couple of hours away.
Jeez, there's a bit of sport tonight.
Yes. Max on pole, I believe, was the result, followed by Red Bulls followed by Red Bulls. It was a 1-2 lockout.
It was a lockout.
Followed by Ferrari, followed by Mercedes.
Yep.
Ricciardo start 10th.
So for anyone that doesn't need to work tomorrow, could essentially do final F1 into first game of the World Cup into NFL Week 1.
Yes. Jeez. What happens after the NFL? Is there a cricket game?
Well, there's the second round of the late window of NFLs, and then there's a Sunday night, and there's NBAs.
Back into more World Cup games.
Yeah. Essentially, if you didn't need to work
or sleep
and smoke meth, you can pretty much just watch sport all the time. Two big ifs.
Yes. That's why we do it for you. So listen to On The Esky.
Yeah, check us out on the socials. You can see the dribble. You can see 101 Corella DeVille's episodes up on all reputable podcast platform.
You can listen everywhere. Otherwise, check us out on YouTube.
Ending it how we started.
With a lot of dribble.
Yeah.
Final notes. I'm on a golf trip next week.
I
believe
that's
you're
fun. Away sometime.
2 weeks? 2 weeks' time? Hear from us?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'll be mostly group stages done-ish of the World Cup.
Yep.
That'll be NFL really starting to take shape.
Yep.
And, test match cricket.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Alrighty.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll see you around.
See you next time.
Bye.